I said, yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Amara. This is Amara's Logic. Got a new video for you today. Milwaukee Bucks trades, rumors, and news. Live edition. Before we get into it, you know the spiel. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the electrifying content with the people. Y'all know what we're here to talk about. What is happening at Fiserv Forum in front of friends and family. Bucks are getting their head beat in 106 to 121 as we speak. But salute the Bucks Nation. Appreciate y'all all tapping in. We gotta take the good with the bad. We gotta take the good with the bad, Bucks Nation. This is a series. They got one. We gotta go get one on their home court. That's it at the end of the day. Uh, this is a bad loss, but the things that we did wrong in this game are correctable. But one thing that we do need to, Doc needs to be aware of is these rotations and players who just aren't producing. There's no need to waste your time. And I hear people in the chat saying, like, oh, the young guys won't play. Why shouldn't they play? Please explain to me why Beauchamp shouldn't play more than Crowder. What is Crowder done to make you feel confident that Beauchamp can't do that or more? Anytime Andre Jackson Jr. has been in any game, he's had a positive impact. You're telling me you can't take 5 minutes, Doc, to see if one of the young guys can give you something? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous in my eyes. That's absolutely ridiculous. We got killed in the pick and roll tonight. We had no answer for the pick and roll. How Devin Haney had no answer for Ryan Garcia's left hook. We had no answer for the pick and roll. We were getting absolutely annihilated in the pick and roll. This team had their way. They're shooting over 50%, ladies and gentlemen. 55% from the field. 42% from the three-point line. How are you going to lose? How are you going to lose? We couldn't stop a nosebleed today. They got everything that they wanted. They took advantage of the slowest people on the team or the least defensive, least with the least defensive ability, and they cooked us. Pascal Siakam, aka Timu Giannis, he was out there looking like a superstar. This man 16 of 23, 3 of 4 from 3, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 37. Miles Turner had 22. Nemhard had 20. This was crazy. So it wasn't Halliburton 2 games in a row. Hasn't been crazy. 12 and 12. I'll take it. But look at the balanced attack. 5 people in double figures. Almost 6 with Obi Toppin. Now look at the Bucks. Bobby Portis 6 of 16, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. You would say, okay, that's not bad, right, Bobby? But then I would tell you didn't watch the game. Bobby sucked the life right out of this team in the third quarter. When he tricked them shots, them layups, all that tricked this whole game off. I don't care what nobody say. He took the energy right out of the room. Right out of the room. And then terrible defense. Bobby, I don't know what you were thinking, bro. That was crazy. And Middleton, some of his decision making and dribbling, and him getting hurt right away threw off the whole mojo. Matt, let me get your super chat, Matt. Hold on, bro. Matt, appreciate the $4.99 super chat. Shouldn't we have more ways to get Dame open? I hate Nemhard. Dude is just a bear hugging Dame all game. I agree. But that's coaching, though. That's what I'm saying. Some of this is on coaching. I know that our players are older. I know that, but you can still put them in better positions to be effective. Like, there's no excuse for how bad our defense was today. You can't just blame that on the players. Some of that is scheme. I mean, they shot 55%. Dame carried us as long as he could. Dame did all he could today. 34 points, another game with 6 threes, 8 and 9 from the free throw line, 5 assists, 1 steal. He only had 1 turnover, 34 points. Lopez was hot early from 3, 22 points, but he got cooked on defense. So he scored 22, but he was getting cooked by Siakam and Turner. He just can't move. Lopez, Middleton did have a little bit of a run in like that third quarter where he got a couple of shots going, but we need more than 15 out of Middleton. But he did have 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Lopez had the 22. Dame had the 34 minutes, 39 minutes. He played most of the game. Jay Crowder played 15 minutes, had 2 points. Jay Crowder played terrible today. Just terrible. Connaughton actually had a few moments in the game. That and one had 5 points, not a lot. AJ Green played 15 minutes and gave you 5 points. He was 0 for 1 from 3, but 2 for 4 from the field, so that wasn't bad. And then Andre Jackson Jr. and Beauchamp got in at garbage time. Oh, Beasley was awful tonight. I know he only played 9 minutes, but that was a terrible 9 minutes. Beasley couldn't run the fast break. Oh my God, Beasley was terrible. I wouldn't mind if he might need to just get a DNP to get his head together. He has no clue what he's doing defensively. I just think Beasley might need to sit down. Him and Crowder. I just don't. Bucks Nation, y'all let me know how much worse could Beauchamp and Andre Jackson Jr. play than Beasley and Crowder. There's way more upside. I just don't understand. It's way more upside. Damn, man, we almost got blew out by 20 points. 125, 108. And then again, let's look at the same problems. The same problems. Points in the paint. Again, 52 to 36. Again, a problem. We did get a few offensive rebounds today, so that was nice to see. And look, they had 38 assists. That means they were getting easy looks. 38 assists. I just wanted the main reason I wanted this game won is for Giannis not to feel like he needs to rush back. That was really why I wanted to get this win. But now we need Giannis, especially with Middleton gimpy after his paper mache body failed him earlier in the game. Let me get your super chat, bro. Then I'm going to start shouting out the squad. Ridiculous. Dre West, what's good? Let me get your super chat, my dude. Dre West said, now it's Doc's turn to adjust. We all know Doc. Should we be nervous? No, we shouldn't be nervous. We just shouldn't have lost this game. We just needed somebody to help Dame. Dame ran out of gas. He was doing all he could. Now we see playoff Dame. Now we just need Giannis and we'll be cool. So if we had Giannis and then Middleton scoring 15, that's perfect. But when we don't have Giannis and Middleton only scores 15 points, it ain't going to look good. It's just not going to look good. Hey, appreciate all the Bucks Nation tapping into the #1 Bucks podcast on YouTube with the #1 Bucks chat on YouTube. Salute to the people. Please hit that like button and support this Bucks channel and content. Much appreciated. It helps other people find the content. Appreciate y'all. Let me shout out everybody. I'm going to open the lines here in a minute. Let me just shout out who I see in here. Salute the Bucks Nation. Chris B, what's good? Eliza, what's good? Janet MOC. Brenda, what's good? Nokasana, what's good? John Jackson. Pronte in the house. Patricia P. Eliza. D. Cole 123. Sergio B. Shack. Eric Payne. Jeff Riley, my man. Dre West. What's good? Jeff Riley in the OC. What's good, bro? Nick Swin. Good to see you, Nick. Tap in when you get a chance. Robert Allen, what's good? Eli Harris, what's good? Sandra, what's good? I know this is going to be a tough loss. We're going to talk it through. And the legend, Mr. Cool, what's good, sir? Bucks #1, AJ, what's good? Revo, Max Villain, salute. Brandon, what's good? Yeah, we got the gang in here. Salute to the gang. Let's get to some of these comments and see what y'all got to say. Then I'm going to open up the phone lines here in a minute. I'm just going to call them phone lines, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Give me a second. Let me just see what y'all got to say. Chris B said this is not on Dame. I agree. I agree it's not on Dame. Eliza, what's good? John, how's Brook supposed to defend when he has to score? You expect Dame to score only and don't expect him to play defense, but want to act like Brook should? Brook is known for his defense, Eliza. So that does have to be taken into account too. Janet MOC, what's good? We need to steal both games in Indiana. I settle for one though. No, we need to get both games. Giannis need to come back. We need to rub some of the cream in the clear on his injury and get this thing cracking. I hope y'all know what I mean by the cream in the clear. Shout out to Barry Bonds. Brenda said she going to bed. Good night, Brenda. Thank you for tapping in, Brenda. Pronte Pronte said playoff Crowder doesn't exist. Yeah, that's done. John Jackson said Brook, Bobby, and Crowder are all garbage on defense. I won't put Brook in that category. I will subtract Brook and add in Beasley. I will subtract Brook, add in Beasley. Patricia P was like, now he want to put him in. Yeah, why you wait so long? Doc is starting to give me low IQ vibes. Chris B said they also just hit. Yeah, you gonna hit when you get open looks, bro. They was getting open looks. We wasn't pressuring them. They was getting mad open looks. Nico Sana said Doc will have to look into the roster to see who we can utilize. Now that's a real statement right here. Doc is gonna have a come to Jesus moment, like, hey, I know these the vets, but they not giving us what we need. We need to try something different. And that's the truth. Hey, if the left hook ain't working, you gotta look for another punch. We need to look for another punch, and I believe we have that on the bench. If Doc will get out of his own way. Doc needs to get out his own way. What else do you need to see from Crowder to know he ain't got it no more? He don't got the electricity no more. It's just what it is. He should just try to coach the young guys. That's actually what Crowder should be doing, is trying to coach up the young dudes on the sideline. He don't need to be in the game. Coach up Beauchamp. That's your real replacement anyway. Coach up Beauchamp. Tell him what to do. Hey, bro, you should play defense like this. When you come in, you see this, do that. Because he can't do it no more. He needs to just be helping these young dudes. Like, for real, for real. Crowder is washed. There's no bringing him back. Even Pat shows signs. As much as we talk crazy about Pat at least has moments. Crowder hasn't had a moment in I don't know how long. And as much as I love Bobby P has to work on his basketball IQ. He made some terrible decisions offensively today that were just ridiculous. Ridiculous. And us missing all these floaters and bunnies is crazy. The Bucks as a team layup package and floater package is mad suspect. The Bucks as a team layup package, floater package are very suspect. They got to tighten that up. Look, I saw Dame trick a couple bunny layups. Like, I don't know what that's about, but they need to clean up this layup side of the game. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy, these tricking these layups. Not dunking the basketball, all this just strange behavior. Just low IQ, strange behavior. And then these rotations. I don't understand on defense. Why are you doubling so hard? Pay attention to your man. And I'm going to talk about Middleton too. If y'all watch the game closely, Middleton does not watch his man. He watching everything else but his man, trying to look to see who to double. And then by the time the ball swing around, you know you old and you slow. You can't make up ground. His man be wide open, cooking. Like Siakam was cooking. And you already know you slow, then you got an ankle injury, and you trying to gamble. Step your brain game up, Middleton. Step your brain game up, Bobby P. We playing to win a chip. Low IQ behavior will not be tolerated. Get it together. Ridiculous. Eliza said getting blown out by 20 at home is insane. Agreed. Janet MOC said, how come they stopped feeding Dame the ball? That is Bobby P. Bobby P kept shooting. That's what it was. That's what I'm saying. He shot us out of the game. That's what I'm saying. As much as I love when Bobby P's cooking, Bobby P as a basketball player has low IQ. That's just what it is. He just got a raw natural ability, but he's a low IQ player. Deco123 said they were picking on Lopez in the fourth. Giannis needs to come back and shut this weak team up. Agreed. They was hunting Lopez. They were hunting Lopez. I agree. They were hunting it. That's what I'm talking about, Eric Payne. Let's go and win the game in 3 in Indiana. We got this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bleacher Report boss, I'm gonna tap you in here momentarily. They a B-Shack, you know what it was, a giving up. You just saw a team with they was on fire in that fourth quarter. I mean, they went crazy on us on a little stretch, and that just was the difference in the game. And Dame wasn't being fed the ball anymore. I don't know why they didn't just ride Dame until he went cold. Bobby P, like what I'm saying, when Bobby P get the ball, he ain't looking to do nothing but score. Passing is just secondary. Doc has to coach up this team too. I know they slow, I know they, but just like the IQ plays, they can tighten that up. Jeff Riley said instead of the third quarter collapse, we had a fourth quarter collapse. That is true. I just think we ran out of gas. Drake West said 3-day rest after this game. Giannis might be back. Game 3 on Friday. Facts. There's the light in the end of the tunnel. It's more time so Giannis can come back. Facts. Okay, Chris B said we got out coach. How y'all feel about that, Bucks Nation? Eli Harris said they running circles around them. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We got to tighten up. We can beat this team, and we could have beat them today. How many times did we get back in this game and then stupid plays, fouls, just doing stupid stuff, stop the momentum? We did it to ourselves. This was a very winnable game. This score isn't indicative of how this game went at all on any level. We were totally in this game at the end of the third. This was a winnable game, and then the wheels came off. We missed multiple shots in a row. They didn't, and that was the difference. We started tricking. That's what happened. We shot 44%. They shot over 50%. That's a big gap. That's just what it is. Sandra Stevenson said, we have youthful talent on this team. It is bad after firing of Griffin. They seemed like they didn't have a vision for this team. Ajax, Livingston, and Marjan should have been developed, period. Agreed. Agreed. Well said, Sandra Stevenson. Well said. Patricia P said, they are showboating on our court again. Yeah, that is crazy. I would be so tight. Oh, I would be tight. Let me tap you in, Bleacher Report boss. All right, tell me how you feel, bro.
Man, I'm mad, man. Just the way that second half went. They should have. Oh man, and you're right. You said it nail on the head. Bobby Porter just shot us out of the game. It was like 3 points, and Bobby kept trying to shoot. I'm like,
And
get
then
the
losing the basketball, missing layups. Like he was wild. And then that one try to turn around he tried to do, he dribbles for like 10 or 15 seconds. What are you
bro.
doing, bro?
If the ball, like you clearly see Dame is getting hot, and you still ain't giving him the ball. Like I don't want to hear ball. They try, like Dame was trying to get open. Like I was
Facts.
seeing run around, get open, and try to get the ball. But it's like they was like, and then you Bobby get the ball, like, man, I can get this, I can get this. And I'm like, Bobby, just read the room, give the ball to Dame.
That's all they should have just rolled Dame until he went cold if he was going to go cold. That's the
I,
problem. That's what I'm saying. Bobby P, if you hot, Bobby P don't care. Like if Giannis is on was scoring, he'll just start shooting. He don't even care. That's what I'm saying. Bobby, as much as I love Bobby, as far as the energy he brings and when he get cooking, Bobby has extremely low basketball IQ. Extremely low. Scary low basketball IQ, to keep it real.
we got to start thinking about, the coach sitting some guys that he'll need to be playing.
Thank
At least,
you.
Bud had the had the had the balls and courage to guys that didn't need to play like he did with Bobby a couple years ago. And I didn't know why they said Bobby he didn't play a game in that series. He's like, okay, I can't use Bobby here because Bobby ain't gonna, he's gonna get cooked. And I was kind of mad that Bobby didn't play, but then I understood the whole series. Like they needed Brooke just to be that blanket and then have Giannis at that 4
What up,
against
Stacy?
the Nets. And you cannot be afraid to somebody because some of these guys gonna get cooked. Every time it was like every time they had momentum, they kept on going back to Brook against Brook or a pass. Like somebody didn't see their man, they try to double it, and then whoever was double, they just run inside automatically. As soon as they double, all you saw got run into the lane. He's like, I don't care, I'm gonna run in the lane and then get another point. I'm like, they get easy shots. There's too many easy shots by the Pacers. That was the biggest problem I seen in this game. They just kept getting too many easy shots. And the Bucks had to give like an arm and a leg to get a two. Like they have to work all that work. You know how you gotta work all day just to get 3 or 2 points, and it just feel like they just did not execute very well. And
Nope, I
just,
agree with
I
you.
mean, Doc gonna have to sit somebody. Somebody don't need to play because they're going that you can't play the Pacers game. You cannot play the Pacers game and they run down the court and they're gonna shoot like that. Like that's their game. They're gonna do that all game on you if they can, and just the disrespect they showed, and I still don't like that. I hate the Pacers, man. I just hate them because they seem like they did something, they did nothing yet, and we just. I mean, I hope the God Giannis plays soon, but I know I'd rather him not play if he's not healthy. But this is getting ridiculous. I mean, yeah, it's one loss, I understand, but just the fact that we had chances to come back 3 times and we just couldn't get over that hump, it just annoys me. So somebody else go now.
Go ahead. What up, Kel? What up, Dr. Smith? Salute to y'all. We got quite a few
What's
people
happening?
waiting, so
Good.
we're gonna do a little bit, but I'm gonna try to keep a rotation in. We got quite a few people in the green room. But salute to everybody that tapped in
I'll
too. Okay. All right.
tap out for you guys.
Damn, my boy. That we'll talk later, bro. We'll chop it up later. I see you tight. All right, bro. All right, hold on. Go ahead, Kel.
Man, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you like this, man, Mr. Smith, man. The reason why them young boys not gonna get no play is because Doc, like somebody said, I think Doc said it himself in one of them interviews after practice or whatever. He don't know what they can do, and he's not really trying to learn what they can do in the playoffs. So he's gonna go and he's gonna depend on Crowder and Connaughton and Bobby and all the other vets. Them young boys not gonna get no burn unless it's garbage time like tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gotta worry about it. You ain't gotta worry about it. But like that was my biggest fear for this game right here, what happened in the fourth quarter and really what, I'm saying, the Pacers were doing all game. Because game one, our defense really won all that. The Pacers was just missing everything they was putting up.
Mm-hmm.
They was just having a real, real bad off night game one. And then this game right here, they was hitting. They was hitting. And fourth quarter, they went supernova. the
Yeah, agreed.
whole
Agreed.
like Siakam was killing us the whole game. Halliburton, he really didn't do too much. Pat
And that's
Bev
what's
pretty
sad.
much
Halliburton isn't really affected this series. The difference in this series has been Pascal Siakam in that mid-range
right.
game. That's what's been killing us. He is out there. I don't even looking like T-Mac or something. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Like, Giannis, we need you back. Timu Giannis is doing way too much out there. We need the authentic. Come on, bro. It's enough now. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
but that's
Kel.
the thing right there, though.
Dr. Smith tap
Oh,
in. Then you, CJ.
uh,
Go
uh,
ahead, bro.
Oh, you
oh, my
me?
bad.
Oh, well, me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Oh, well, firstly, what's up to the chat? What's up, Amara? What's up
What up? What
to
up?
everybody here? What's up? What's going on? What's going on? Um, I'm gonna start with some positivity first. Let's do that, right? So this was a tempo and a fight that I saw from the team that, to be honest with you, I haven't always seen in the regular season. They were up for the fight, so I will uh, give them props for that, or at least most of the players were up for the fight, right? They were. I will politely disagree with the Chris Middleton criticism because I actually thought that he was making contested shots. I thought some of his shots were coming in during times when they were trying to stop the flow. It could have been much, much worse, without some of his timely shots. It really could have. He was up for the fight. I think
No,
Brook
that's why I said he
Lopez
had a nice stretch in the
in
third quarter. He was a big part of the comeback in the third quarter.
yeah. And I'll give him even more props because it was a legitimate injury. I think all of his injuries are legitimate. We saw his ankle buckle, and I'm sitting there thinking, here we go again. And I'm trying not to be a toxic fan and blame it on him because I can't blame freak things on him, even if it always seems to happen to him. But then he turned around and came back in the game and fought, which is more than I could say for some of the guys on the team, or at least fought effectively. I think guys were out there trying to fight, but guys just weren't effective. So I will give him his props. I think Brook Lopez in 2 games has undone everything that he did in the entire season up until this point in a positive way because he's up for the fight, right? Out there blocking shots and whatnot. We just have non-combatants on our team. Jay Crowder was awful, putrid awful, as in I don't ever want to see him on the court again. And I'm trying not to be like over the top because it is just one game, and I do think that you can turn it around in one game, but it would take a lot for me to want to see him on the court. This isn't the time. I agree. This isn't the time to put out young dudes. I'm seeing it with AJ Green. You want to talk about terrible decision making? AJ Green did not make one single good decision tonight except for the M1.
Yeah.
Not one. If you go back and watch the game, like if we get back to film study, AJ Green made one good decision. That's it. Beasley is awful at this time, right? It's to the point now where we are seeing now what the Lakers did to him because it's the exact same thing. He was a starter at the beginning of the season. At some point, Darvin Ham said, if I put you out on the court again, I might choke you, bro. So you're just going to go on the bench, and at the end of the season, we're going to cut you. I would be surprised if the same thing did not happen here.
I agree.
It's a trickle down. He's a 2 guard that can no longer be counted on. So our backup point guard is now running point, moving Dame to the 2 position. You want to know how that's a trickle-down effect? Because both of them are on the court at the same time, which means that at one point, Beasley, they tapped to run the point. That was a train wreck. We'll never see that again. And at that point, Doc turned into Darvin Ham and said, if I have to put you out on the court, I might choke you again. And so we never saw him again. And at that point, Pat Connaughton was running point. So we effectively have no backup point guards because we've now had to move Pat Beverly into the starting lineup. That is how awful Beasley has been for us. It's horrible, right? But guys were fighting. It's just not effective fight. It's unfortunate, right? Because I did see guys out there shooting contested shots, up with the upping the pace. They were up for the fight, and they fought so hard to get back in that game. And then one shift with Jay Crowder on the court the first possession he got, he had a wide open 3, opted to not take it. He's a non-combatant. Somebody must have said something to him. You can't be on the court if you're going to be scared to shoot.
Right.
So he shoots and then shows you why he was scared to shoot. Nothing but bricks. At least you tried, though. I would rather you go out, like I said, with nothing left in the clip than go out with holding back. But he's bricking off the front of the rim.
I got a question for y'all real quick, Miss Smith. Check this out. So shout out to you, Carl. Dame was on the bench way too long when the game wasn't even out of hand yet. Team defense was awful. Nobody can make a shot. This is just a repeat of the inconsistencies that we've seen all season. I think that's 100% valid.
That's how he wanted though. That's his rotation that he liked. Taking his break at the beginning of the 4th and playing all the third, all the first.
And I think he was exhausted. I do, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he was out there trying. I do push back on the Bobby Portis stuff as far as him looking for his own shot because we need somebody else to be able to create their own
No, I agree,
shot.
but let me say this. So if when we were watching the game, as much as Bobby is patting the ball down and they start looking at him, it was people on the wing for 3 wide open.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And that's my problem. That's why I say Bobby got low IQ. If you're going to do that, the defense collapse Instead of you kicking it out for a high quality shot, usually from a good 3-point shooter, you keep doing that, try to do a turnaround or a floater. It's like, use your brain. You should have peripheral vision. You know, if two people are there, that means somebody got to be open. Swing the ball sometime. He is a black hole and it's frustrating sometimes. Bobby, even when he cooking, I'm like, damn, but maybe so-and-so was already hot. What if you would have just kicked it back out to him for 3 and let them keep cooking? Dame was cooking. Why are you taking that many shots in a row? That's almost like you
I
trying
think
to troll Dame.
I think with the Bobby Portis thing, I think, and I've heard people say this, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're having a rough game, you have to shoot your way back into the game. I think there was a concentrated effort. Like, I saw people running off screens to try and get him open, especially at the beginning of the third quarter. They were trying to get him involved. And unfortunately, a lot of his offensive package is going, like, doing the Carmelo Anthony thing, right? You know what I mean? I got to get into my move routine. I got to dribble the air out of
Because
the ball.
Giannis gonna
And
give
then
you.
Hold on.
And
Hold on,
then
hey,
and then we got.
oh, he good now? Okay, I'll
I
just
think
making
the
sure. Hold on. I have Pronte muted. My bad. All right, there we go. What up,
Oh,
Pronte?
I was muted.
oh, what's good, Ponte?
What up, man?
What's
I'm
happening?
driving home
What's
from the
happening?
game.
I think.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Miss Smith.
Yep. I think the Bobby Portis failure came when he got involved too late. So now they were trying to force feed him the issue. You know what I mean? And force him into the mix. And at that point, the fight is on, and you're dribbling the air out of the ball to try and get yourself going rather than get the points, to your point, in the flow of the offense. It wasn't
Correct.
coming in the flow of the. So I think it was a trickle down effect. Bobby Portis not getting himself going earlier and getting involved and being up for the point had a trickle down effect, because now we're forcing you the ball in the third quarter and you're missing. And it's just, a lot of the weaknesses that we have are being exposed. Bobby Portis had a wide open run to the rim and went up with one hand. Once again, the man is like a whole foot taller than me and could barely jump over a
Right.
phone book, going up with one hand and got caught from behind. That's the football equivalent of you got
Facts,
50
Stacey.
yards on someone and a free safety catches you from behind because you don't have any breakaway with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so some of the things are very frustrating to look at, but I think the biggest failure is something that can't be rectified right now. So we're going to have to figure it out somehow, some way. And that's the lack of the development from the younger guys when we had a whole season to do this, because all of Jay Crowder's minutes, the way that you feel about Bobby Portis right now is the way that I feel about Jay Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
I legit never want to see him on the court again, which is it's an emotional response. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he has to get out on the court. That's how terrible he was tonight. He's awful. He was literally the worst person in the playoffs tonight. You're being hunted. No one else was getting hunted. AJ Green wasn't getting hunted like that.
Yeah, true.
And AJ Green is brand new. And it's compounded when you remember, those of us who do, that we gave up 4 second-round picks, if I'm not mistaken, to get Jay.
Five.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? We screwed our future trying to get someone who's unplayable. That was an all-in move to get someone that's unplayable. That is the biggest failure that we're seeing right now, because all of those minutes should have been Ajax minutes, but Ajax is not ready. He's not. I mean, I know people want to. I would love to experiment with him just because what else can, if Jay Crowder is the floor, then he's got to do something better than that. But I don't expect much more better than that. I expect hustle and effort. But this is a high IQ series, right? This is where the chess comes in. This is why we're talking about Bobby Portis and his lack of IQ.
Mm-hmm.
And Ajax don't have it. And I'm an Ajax fan. You remember how I was pumping for Ajax in the beginning. We didn't develop him. That's a lesson for life moving forward. You got to blend your youth with your vets when you have the time to do it, because now is not the time to do it. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened,
Yeah, I got faith. This was a winnable game. This is just a winnable game. CJ, go ahead, tell me how you feel. I'm gonna tap y'all in a minute. In the green room, y'all. Give me a second. Go ahead, CJ Cook.
Salute to y'all. I didn't get the chance to be in the game one, but I was watching back game one and I'm watching back this game. I just gotta say, Tyrese Halliburton, he don't like when Patrick Beverley's on him. He's not looking to score. If you watch the first two games, he is passing. He is just passing, and especially if he's in the pick and roll with Brook Lopez.
Thank you.
But
I cannot
what
score
the
on back to back.
Bucks lost this game was that late third quarter when it was like Dame, Pat, Bobby, and then like two guards or something like that. I don't know. It was like a 4 guard lineup with Bobby. It was a 1 point deficit and it went into a 9 point deficit going into the fourth quarter. That's what lost us the game right there,
Yep,
in my opinion, because
I agree.
no way Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam. There's got to be a level match, especially you can't just expect Pat Connaughton to hold Pascal Siakam. Like
Yeah,
that's
that
a
was
boneheaded Doc Rivers play. This game was on Doc, that like on 1,000%, because when Jay Crowder is struggling, and especially when Dame and Bobby is tired, there's
right.
got to be a point where if you develop the young guys, you can put them in for a cool 3 minutes of the quarter. That way you can match up the speed, match up the size, because Ajax and Marjan can definitely match up with majority of the guys that's on the Pacers team. And then AJ can shoot. And mind you, AJ Green can play defense better than shoot. He can play defense better than
I
Pat
agree.
Connaughton, and he can
I
play
agree.
defense better than Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is letting dudes score and drive to the lane. I've seen it twice when he did it with that Pacers point guard TJ I forgot his last name, McConnell or something like that. But literally he's letting dudes get into the sweet spots. And I think Giannis will be back game 3 because this right here, Giannis can't come back last year down 2-1. Man, we saw what happened when he came back down 2-1. It didn't
Right.
end up well. I think he's probably going to come back game 3 because it's a 3-day rest. But if I'm Giannis, and this is coming from a Giannis fan, this right here is the perfect time and let Dame run the offense. Dame is right now cooking right now, and I've been on Dame from this whole season. Right now, this is the perfect time for you to be like, you know what? I have an Achilles problem. Let me try to play off the ball. Let me try to go ahead and be a low post guy. Let me try to be a screen and roller. Let me try and do my best to work Dame out, because right now this man has been cooking, hitting tough shots. But this defense is going to change when Giannis gets into the game, because the Pacers are not going to be playing Dame like that if Giannis is on the
Facts.
court. Because Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam cannot play. They know over there they don't have guys to guard Giannis, so they're going to be all on top of Giannis. Right now, this is the perfect time, because if Dame is going, Chris Middleton will be on isolation majority of his matchups. He's not going to be worrying about help. He's not going to be worrying about all that. So that's why I'm saying, I'm missing the camera. But this is why I'm saying this is the perfect time that Giannis needs to be leaning
Hey,
on to
let's get
Dame,
the
if that makes
likes up,
sense.
Bucks Nation.
But
It's almost 175 y'all in here. Hit the like button for the free 99. Much appreciated. Hey, we grinding here. Come on, y'all. Hit the like button. Appreciate y'all. All right. Yeah, CJ, I'm with you 100%, bro. And appreciate you tapping in. There's plenty of people in the green room, bro. So I'm gonna tap you out, but tap back
oh,
in a little bit. So
and one more thing.
yeah, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, and one more thing, Amir. Bucks in 5. That's all I gotta say.
All
They ain't win.
right,
Them
my
boys ain't
boy.
winning another game, bro.
All right,
After
there
the
we
way we
go, my
just lost
boy.
today, yeah, they ain't.
All right, CJ, go. All right, hey, Mr. Cool, about to tap you in. And then I see you, B Shack. What up, Mr. Cool? Tell us how you feeling.
Not good, not good, not a good performance tonight. But I'm very simple, a simplistic person,
Okay.
and to me, it came down to one and one thing only: when Chris Middleton got injured,
Yep.
because
Facts.
I think that
Yep.
affected our offense
Yep.
and it affected our defense both. Um, if you watch our offense after later on throughout the game, we were trying to post him, isolate him, and get him the ball because he couldn't move any longer. So he couldn't cut, he couldn't run the plays and the sets, the motion that we
That's
had in the
fair.
first game because he could not move. defensively, he was a huge liability because he
Yeah, he
could not
was.
move,
Yep.
and that changed their defense. So I think those factors, to me, more than anything else, had an impact. And we don't have a large margin for error when you already have Giannis out of the game. So now, once Giannis is not playing, Middleton's now playing maybe at 50% at best. That's tough to ask. That's a tough ask for our team to ask to try to win a game. You have to really rely on everybody else to have their A game, and that's just hard to expect. I mean, Bobby Portis didn't play that well either offensively as he should. So, it was just one of those games that we'll bounce back. We'll be fine, I believe. It was just a tough one to swallow today because we were at home. But that's just how I saw it. I don't have much more else to say.
What's on you? What you got to say, Pronte? Appreciate you. Hey, you know what? We got to appreciate when Mr. Cool tap in.
Yeah,
This
always.
ain't no. Oh, this ain't no regular occurrence. Hey, we got to. Hey, salute to Mr. Cool. Go ahead, Pronte.
I mean, I agree with Mr. Cool. When I saw Middleton was injured, I was like, here we go again.
I
Typical,
knew.
typical. Middleton's playoff performance, get injured off of what, ankle roll? I'm pretty sure he rolled his ankle or something. He might be out a month. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. This is what Middleton does a lot. This is why we haven't won another championship because Middleton keep getting injured. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's because Middleton keep getting injured, and he gets injured and he doesn't really do much. He wasn't doing much to get injured, and that's the real problem we're having with Middleton. He keeps breaking down, like almost like Joel Embiid. Like,
Yeah.
so Middleton
Facts.
getting injured
Facts.
is a big problem for the Bucks. So I agree with Mr. Cool. When I saw him injured, I was like, this is gonna be a tough game because Middleton's injured again. Um, Bobby Portis, you can't depend on Bobby Portis. He's a six man literally. That's what he is.
Right.
So he's not
Right.
gonna give you production every game. And yeah, Bobby Portis hates to pass the ball. He was damn near falling on the ground and still shooting the ball. It's like, bro,
Bro,
you
that was
tripping and falling on the
crazy.
ground and you still shot the ball. Pass the ball, man. Like, that's crazy to shoot that shot. He shot it anyway. So he one of those players when you give him the ball, you ain't getting it back. You ain't getting it back. That's all you know. Um, but when I say the Bucks, they Doc need to Doc against this team. You have to play some of your young players. You cannot roll with Jay Crowder, man. Like,
Jay
what are we
Yeah.
Crowder
talking about?
dub, bro.
Like,
Crowder
why?
dub.
Why do we? What? Like, dude, man, there is no playoff Crowder. There is no such thing. I never seen it when he was young. There's no such thing as a playoff Crowder, and he's old. He got DNP last year for a reason. DNP him this year for the same reason, cause he's done. So let's move on from Crowder. He's not PJ Tucker. He's just not PJ Tucker. And let's move on. That's
He's
why we got him. We thought we was gonna get another PJ Tucker with the
Yep.
energy. He doesn't even play with that type of energy. He just don't. Like, you see Pat
Did you know that
Bav,
he's
he's
only
doing
33 years old?
Pat
He's only
Bav is doing
33.
his job.
Yeah, Pat
PJ
Bev is
PJ
doing his job. I agree with that.
Pat Bav is doing his job. PJ is older than Jay Crowder, and he still will give you more in this series than Jay Crowder is gonna give you. Jay Crowder doesn't have the same game PJ has. Jay Crowder I don't know what he is. He just doesn't give you enough. Um, but at the end of the day, shout out to Dame. He experienced what Giannis experienced in the playoffs, and that's what he just
Damn,
experienced.
Pronte.
He experienced
Damn,
exactly what Giannis
Pronte.
experienced in the playoffs. This is exactly what Giannis experienced when he was playing Boston. This is exactly what Giannis experienced when he was playing Miami. Uh, this is what Giannis goes through, Dame, and that's why we bought you here. Because the rest of them are going to flatline every other game. Literally. You're going to have to either win it or not. Because even when we won game 6 in the finals, Giannis did everything in that game. He
True.
sustained the whole game.
True.
The rest of
50
the team
points.
didn't do
That's a fact.
anything.
That's
The
fair.
rest of the team didn't do anything in that game. It was Giannis or bust. If Giannis didn't give us 50 that game, we lose. And that's if Dame don't understand that you cannot defer when you see them going like this, because the Bucks do this a lot. Dame has to understand, if you cooking, stay cooking,
Right.
Yeah.
because
No, that's
ain't
fair.
That's a
nobody
correct.
else
Right.
gonna step up. They just don't do that. That's not how the Bucks operate. They haven't been operating like that in years. When Bobby Portis is off, he's off. When Chris Middleton is off, he's off. He's not gonna pick it up in the fourth quarter. He's gonna stay off. And I think Dame's like, oh, I gotta get off the ball sometimes because I need somebody else to cook. They're not gonna cook, y'all. You can tell what type of game they're gonna have at the beginning of the game. The role players. When Bobby Portis is missing, he's gonna miss the whole game. He's gonna be bad the whole game. Brook
Yeah.
Brook Lopez
Mm-hmm.
got hunted. Brook Lopez got hunted in the second half. They cooked Brook Lopez in the second half on defense.
Yep.
They looked for him and they scored on him every
That it,
single
it's
time
not.
because
Let's
he
say
was.
what it was, Pronte. The pick and roll, and we had no counter for that pick and roll.
No, no, but Brook Lopez did not hold his man the whole game. He literally let Miles Turner shoot an open
The
three.
three, yeah, while he trying to
Siakam
suffocate in the
shoot an
paint.
open shot the whole game. It did not make
Pronte,
sense because he doesn't.
Pronte.
Huh?
Go ahead, Mr. Cool.
Huh?
I'm sorry. That's because um, he was missing those shots early in the first game and in part of this game. So I think Brook was just backing off, letting him take shots. Soon he was going to miss, and eventually he got hot and got
Yep.
into a great
No,
rhythm,
I
and
But
mean,
that was the mistake
that's
Brook
his
but
Lopez
that's
best
his
made.
game.
game though. That's his game.
Right.
But
His
I
game
know.
is just like Brook
Right.
Lopez's game. So that's not
Right.
that's low
Right.
IQ basketball, like we've been saying. Because all Miles Turner
but I
does is shoot threes. He doesn't do anything else.
That's kind of
He really
valid
Right.
doesn't.
too. That's valid. Go ahead,
can I
Miss Smith.
Go ahead.
let me ask a question with that, right? Because with that, it's Brook is in the drop at that point. That's why the
Mm.
threes are coming. Now at that point, do we feel that that's a Brook Lopez thing, or is that a Doc Rivers thing where you have to change the formation and go to zone to stop that because he's in the
I
drop?
mean,
That's why he's letting all those threes go.
it's a person.
That's a
It's a John Horst thing. It's a John Horst thing. John Horst did not fix that. Think about it. Who was they gonna put in? They put a lineup without Brook Lopez, and they had Pat Connaughton in. They were so small they couldn't get a rebound. You see what I'm saying? That's a John Horst thing. Without Giannis, you don't have another big. We've been saying it all year. You don't have an athletic big to go out there and guard. And they got
Well,
instead of getting
one,
an
one,
wait, hold on, Mr. Cool. Instead of getting an
go
athletic
ahead.
big, who did they get? They got Gallinari. And they should have got an
Mm-hmm.
athletic big, and that's why it looked like that. Because they didn't have nobody to put in the game
We
but
should have
Pat
got
Connaughton.
Kai Jones.
They should have got an
Well,
athletic big.
yeah. But one
Because
thing for sure, if Giannis is on the floor, Siakam will never do the damage he's doing right now.
Oh
and that's
no,
my other point.
absolutely not.
With
Oh,
Siakam
absolutely
on the
not.
floor, Giannis locks up Siakam at will.
Right.
Siakam's only
Hmm.
doing this because Giannis is not on the floor. And I'm sure
That's right.
Giannis is knowing that while he's sitting over there. He's like, man, look, dude wouldn't do nothing against me. He would be an
Hmm.
inefficient player. He's an inefficient player against Giannis. Giannis makes him
Right.
look real bad.
Right.
But Chris
That's right.
Middleton and Brook Lopez makes him look real good. As
True.
Right.
Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez make him look like Giannis.
Right. That's what.
And
Yeah.
that's the
That's what I'm
problem.
saying. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like he ain't Giannis. He a team move like Giannis, like you said. But when
Right.
Brook Lopez hold him, he's a superstar. Cause if you notice what Indiana's doing, they're just going to him when they get in offensive trouble, cause it's an automatic
Right.
bucket. They know
Right.
exactly
Right.
what Brook Lopez is gonna
Right.
do on on him. He's gonna drop back. He's gonna get a mid range jumper, and then
And
if
get
he
it
don't,
going.
Right.
he's just gonna do it. He's just gonna get
But
around him, get a layup, cause there's no sides
but
behind Brook Lopez.
but Prate, Siakam was scoring on everybody and anybody that guarded him.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody,
I
he had
know. I
nobody
ain't talking
getting
about
away
Brook
with.
Lopez. I'm talking about,
Yeah.
but that's because Giannis is not on the court. My
Right.
point is, but if you got a Kai Jones, if you would have fixed that problem instead of getting a Danilo Gallinari and got like a athletic big, he wouldn't be able to do that.
Hmm.
That's on John Hortz. He got rid of Robert Lopez, and
He's talking.
he got Danilo Gallinari instead of what we all needed, a backup athletic center or a power forward. And we've been saying it all year, and he did not get it. Now Siakam can cook this whole series if Giannis don't come back, because he's an automatic bucket for them. And they
Yeah.
figured that out the first game. They figured out game one that he was automatic, and that's all they did. When they got in trouble, they just said, "Oh, give it to Siakam, bucket," and it was a bucket. It was a bucket. It was an automatic bucket. Run the offense, do Siakam, bucket. And because Brook Lopez is gonna drop back, Connaughton's too small, Kids Middleton's too small and too slow and unathletic. And who's gonna? He can just reach around him and shoot all over him. That's all he did.
He's
And
talking,
it's
y'all.
like,
He's
and,
talking.
that, and I'm just gonna tell y'all, if they don't get Giannis back, that's gonna happen all series long. Because they have
Yeah,
no answer for that. They have no answer
I,
for that.
I I agree with everything you're saying. I just think that we're punishing Brook for what I think is a schematic issue. Because I agree,
Right.
the way that you beat the drop is the mid range shot, and with Siakam, he's not missing,
Nope.
right? And with you have Giannis in there who has more length. That's our problem. We don't have someone with length that could really trouble his shot outside of Giannis. You put Giannis when we man up on Pascal. I don't know that he completely shuts him down, but he definitely doesn't go off like
He
that.
definitely shuts him down. If I've seen Giannis play Siakam a lot of times. Siakam
Yeah,
doesn't do much against Giannis at all. At all.
but
He
but
just
but
doesn't do
but the
much.
point is valid for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he changes the way things because now you can shift Chris over to Miles Turner, and you can go out and play on the perimeter and whatnot, and you can do better than what you've been doing. Chris on Siakam is a horror movie. Pat on Siakam is a
It's
horror
even
movie.
worse.
Anyone other than Giannis right now on Siakam when we're in the drop is a horror movie. I would have preferred, me personally, in the past
Ajax.
when our drop
I
was
remember Ajax.
failing to go to the 2-3 zone because that does help to clean up a lot of the stuff. And we didn't see it. I would love to know why we didn't see the 2-3 zone when you see that happening because it does help to cover up some of the problems with the drop zone. That we've had to eat that the entire year is that Brook can't do anything other than the drop defense.
Yeah.
That's
True.
been the entire
Shout
year that
out.
we've had to.
That's the problem. We've been having to cover that the whole year. And with Giannis out, we can't run Giannis at the five. A Giannis at the five for a stretch in this game would have destroyed that team.
Yeah, I
Would have
agree.
destroyed that whole little system they was running. But we had to put Bobby at a five and Pat Connaughton at a four
That was
or Jay
tragic.
Crowder at a four,
Absolutely,
and that
That
was
was
tragic.
terrible.
That was
that
tragic
was tragic.
rebound, and that was tragic. That was horrible to watch. So it was like,
Quante,
man,
he had
look,
wide open lane.
Right.
Like I think it was either Dame who released him or Pat Beverly who released him. He had a wide open run to the basket, and because he can barely jump over a chair and whatnot, he went up with one hand instead of going up with two hands. Charles Smith and got the ball swatted out or something like that. Gonna sit and
I
argue
mean,
with the ref about who touched the ball again. That is
who was that? Who was that? Which one? Crowder
that was
or
Bobby Porter.
Beasley or Bible?
That was
Well,
Bobby
Bobby Porter's need
Porter's.
to. I mean, you don't have to, but I watched the Lakers game yesterday. Jokic ain't athletic. Jokic can't jump over a chair either. You just gotta have more skill than that around the basket.
Correct.
Like a layup
Or be more
works. Yeah, I
crafty.
mean, you don't have to. You have to be a little more crafty than around the basket. It's a layup. It's not. You don't have to dunk. You just have to lay it up. It was nobody there. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on, man. Like, we talk about how skilled Bobby is, but making a layup is the most basic thing in basketball.
But it's
Making an
not just
uncontested
him. Our
layup is a
team in general has a
it's
problem
the
with
most
layups.
Dr. Smith, making a layup is the most basic thing you do in bad. It's the first thing you learn. It's how to make an uncontested layup. And for
I
you to
just
be
think
6'10" and miss an uncontested layup, it's just beyond belief.
it just changes things. See, so I mean, right now what we're seeing.
Hey,
So
Pronte, let me just tap you out for a second and tap
All
in B
right,
Shack,
man.
and I'm gonna tap you back
All
in.
right, go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Yep.
I was just gonna say for the Giannis criticizers, what we're seeing is how much of a force multiplier Giannis is, right,
Mm-hmm.
on both sides of the court. Because honestly, it's looking, and I make these football comparisons all the time. B-Shack, what's happening, man? Mr. Cool, by the way, what's happening? I didn't individually say what's up.
Hey,
Sorry for that.
hey guys.
It looks a lot like the Packers offense when Aaron Jones wasn't in there, and we had to just run AJ Dillon. It looks stunted.
Yep.
And that's what we do. We look stunted, right? Because I do believe that schematically, you know me, I like the chess of basketball. Schematically, we have an answer for what the Pacers do. It's just it looks brutal when Giannis is not in there to help it. we have a 2-3 zone answer that helps, that works. And it allows for guys to not get run ragged all over the court trying to man up. And you can shift studiously between man and the 2-3 if the drop isn't working. But when Giannis is not in there, we have no one with length to contest Pascal. And it's going to
Right.
be hard when he's
Or
not
have the
missing. So
lateral
first,
movement, at the very
or,
least to stay with somebody. Like, we don't have anybody really that we play significant minutes that has good lateral movement besides
yeah, and
Giannis.
so salute to Pascal and the Pacers for consistently
Mm-hmm.
punishing that, right?
Right.
And it's not going to get any better should we get past the Pacers, because I honestly think it's going to be the Knicks. And if anybody is better than Pascal at the mid-range game, it's Jalen Brunson. He
Correct.
is absolutely not going to miss in the mid-range. And then beyond him, you got the J brothers, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the J's, right? They don't miss mid-range. They don't even take mid-range.
Yeah, they
It's
only
something
shoot
they don't.
three. Shout out to them.
They just right. We have to have an answer with length. Pat Connaughton is the engine, the littlest engine that could sometimes. Like, there's only so much that he could do, but if he doesn't have the length to bother the shot, it's not going to do anything. And I'm not going to take shots at him because I actually thought that he played well tonight
Mm-hmm.
for what I expect of him. But the people that let me down were definitely Bobby Portis, and Jay Crowder is awful. He's awful. He looked like the worst player in the playoffs. That's awful. I don't want to be toxic. I'm sure he's a
No,
nice
but that's a
guy.
good thing. Well, Mr. Cool is always optimistic about things and players. Mr. Cool, what do you got to say about Jay Crowder? Salute B Shack as well. So, Mr. Cool, what do you got to say about Crowder? Is he playable?
Well, here's the thing. I want him to give us something on one end of the floor. Right now, his defense has been really, really bad, which surprises me. It's as bad as it has been. I knew he wouldn't be the player he once was a year or two ago defensively, but he's went down to a level now where it is to a point where how do you play him? But we have a lack of size. So he's an undersized four who's still not doing anything defensively. I'll accept some missed shots, but I can't accept his defense as poorly as it is right now. Just from that. Just been bad. He's not getting into people. He's not bodying people. He's not
Right.
getting no kind of good defensive, nothing defensively, which is kind of shocking that he's that poor right now, this bad that he's been. So that's been a real problem for me and him. So I know he's not going to make shots right now. He's just not a great shooter. So what do you do? But who do you play? You know,
But that's
and
what
you're
I'm
right.
saying, Bo. That's what I'm
We
saying.
didn't
How do you
we didn't develop
why
the young
not play
players.
Beauchamp at that point? Can it get any worse? The bottom already came out with Crowder. Can it get any worse? Why not just give Beauchamp a try?
No, I agree. At this
Why
point,
not just
I'd be fine
let's
with
see
that.
what happens. Let's see what happens. Go ahead, B
I
Shack. You go ahead, B
recommend
Shack. You look like you really about to cook. Go ahead.
Well,
Floor is yours,
listen,
sir.
first of all, it is an honor to be on with two of the most cerebral fans
salute,
on this
Yeah,
salute.
chat,
Appreciate
Dr. Smith and Mr. Cool. I mean, it's an honor.
it. Salute.
Measured, thoughtful, don't get so emotional that just everything comes out as negative. We need some solutions now.
Right.
right,
And
right.
they're hard to come by. Let me say something from a bird's eye view. I think we really messed. I think Horse really messed up because as much as we were frustrated with Adrian Griffin, Adrian was playing the long game. We had a 30 and
13.
13 record, something like that. The defense was taking some time to take, but we were winning. He was playing the young guys. And if you recall me saying, I said, this is a good thing because by the playoffs, they'll be ready. But when Doc came in, they stopped getting run.
That's true.
Now watch
Mhm.
this. Watch this. Playing the long game, he was known for defense. This is where Horace is a weak GM. Remember when LeBron started giving Spoelstra problems? Pat Riley came down there and said, yo, this is the man. You guys better start listening to him and better start doing, because he's not going nowhere.
That's an interesting perspective.
And the players got in line when they saw that Pat had his back. If they would have stopped, if they didn't sell out so quick on what he was trying to do, a lot of them continue to work the young guys in. The defense would have been better by now because it would have incorporated more speed and more athleticism with the young guys. So I think if I could go back and do it again, it looks bad firing Adrian Griffin with that record. And I just think the players needed somebody to kick them in the butt and tell them, hey, get serious and start applying these principles. So I think one of the reasons why it didn't work well, because I think they weren't totally so bought into it. If you're not bought into something, you're not going to execute it the way you need to. That's one thing.
Mm.
But getting back to the Knights game, the thing that frustrated me the most tonight, I do not understand what's going on with how they're using Dame. I think after 2 games, it's something like he scored like what's 35 and 25? That's like 50, right?
No, 60.
60. He's like 60 in the first half and like 10 in the second half. And I'm looking at him going to the side, just being a decoy. He's not going after the ball. Now, I think someone said they're not getting him the ball. I don't see him going after the ball.
I
So
agree.
I don't know if he's gassed, but he's really our only hope tonight against this team. Him shooting at the pace he's been shooting. We could not afford for Dame to be passive in the second half. We couldn't afford it. There was no other solution. Nobody was, Larry Bird's not walking through that door.
Right.
Ray Allen's not walking through that door. Big Dog's not walking through that door. It had to be Dame tonight. It had to be. So that frustrated me. Is there anything that y'all saw that the Pacers were doing so great that Dame just stopped looking for a shot? Did
No,
y'all see
I just
anything?
think I'll say this. I think when other players start getting the ball and shooting and not feeding him, that affect him. Like I said, I thought Bobby P had a stretch of some bad basketball when Dame was cooking, where he could have fed him the ball multiple times when he was doing his dribble back, and that'll throw you right off your game. And he just kind of fell out of the rhythm after that. He fell out of rhythm. I'm not blaming. I'm not saying it's just all his fault, but Dame needs to be assertive all 4 quarters,
Got to
especially that
be.
he can't take time
He,
off. And I feel
he's
like he
got to
takes
be.
time off, that sometimes he disengages. And I felt like he became disengaged.
I
See,
don't
for
I
But
don't
me,
let me
understand
say
where it
this.
comes from.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Let me say this. I think part of why that happened though, Bishak, is because in the last game, Bobby and Middleton were cooking pretty good, and I think he probably assumed if you get them going, it could make it easier for him, get more
Yep,
the
that's
space to
fair.
pour out defensively. And those guys never really got going. Middleton was injured. He tried to ISO all the time, which he was unable to do because of his leg or knee or whatever it was bothering. And Bobby Porter just had a really bad offensive performance tonight. So I think Dame might have been looking for those guys to contribute, take a little pressure off of him, and then maybe he can break loose later on and attack more and catch his breath a little bit. But I hear what you're saying. He might as well just play the whole game. But you don't know that at the time. You're assuming, okay, Chris will get going. You're assuming Bobby's going to get going. And it just never really happened.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah, it's
Dame.
just the co- it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I think Dame needs to stop seeing himself as an equal. He's not an equal. He's a Dame
True.
Lillard.
Hmm.
And like the first game, at one point, it was the Pacers 29, Dame Lillard 29. Dame has the ability to go to such a level that he can literally outscore the other team. They could be shooting twos, he could be shooting threes, and get them right back in the game. That being said, let me say one more thing, Mr. Cool. I mean, Mr. Dr. Smith, one more thing. Bobby Portis. If Bobby does not start the game off well, he has an
Right.
inability to self-correct.
That
There's
yeah,
Right.
something about
Right.
him.
Right.
He
Yeah.
cannot. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know if he gets sped up. I don't know if it's anxiety. But he seems like he loses all of his rhythm, all of his
yep,
confidence, all of his swag. And and Beasley is just he's unplayable right now.
Horrible.
mm,
He's
He's
horrible right
literally
now.
Yeah.
unplayable. He's literally unplayable. In fact, I mean, even though he can't really shoot. Well, I mean, if he's open in the corner, he can shoot. But at least Ajax has an idea what to do on defense.
correct.
Right. Right.
Beasley is embarrassing. Now. He doesn't even look like a. Sometimes on defense, he does not even look like an NBA player.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing with that, right? This is a lot to unpack with a lot of this stuff. And I agree with a lot of what you said, right? To me, the true value of an NBA player is what you're able to do in the playoffs, because this is when you're seeing people play at their best. At their
Yep,
best. The regular season is a mixture of guys trying to play basketball and work on some things and work on some different concepts and conserve energy in their marathon running. If that is the only time that you're a viable player is when everyone's at jogging pace. But when people say, all right, now it's time to turn up, and you are so bad that you can't get on the court, and you can't be in the league. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because this is where real basketball is being played. And so now I'm left with wondering: has this been a mirage for Malik Beasley? And should we have seen it coming? Because we've seen this movie before. Now I don't feel like one showing of a player is going to tell the story for the rest of his career. It's up to you to change it, and people can change it. He just hasn't, and that's a shame. Because if I'm John Horst, I can't do this. I can't do this. Right next door in Wisconsin, we have a team that is doing it the right. They're
right.
ruthless, right? They are the other way around, right? The minute you show weakness, right, they are taking
They
that
gonna
horse
hit
by
you
the
out
barn,
there.
Mm.
Right.
and you got. I'm sorry. This
Hey,
is
it's
it. They're showing,
Darwinism
and
up there in Packerland. They on some Darwinism. It's survival of the
right.
fittest in Packerland.
So I will say this, right? I don't agree with the Adrian Griffin take in the entirety. I think Adrian Griffin absolutely had to go. But one of the things that he did do that I wish uh, Doc did was play his starters. I mean, excuse me, play his young guys. And I do think that there was enough time to work on that. But Doc was also in an untenable position as well because they just got rid of Adrian Griffin. So you have to come in and produce drastically different results. Otherwise, it looks twofold worse. He did not get like a measured uh, opportunity to evaluate his roster and work on things from the beginning of the season. You got it from the middle of the season. At that point, there were a handful of practices. It was to the point, if you remember, that they were using the shoot around as practice. It was an untenable position, and he legitimately doesn't know what these guys can do. If you think that if we're bashing Bobby Portis on his IQ right now, like I said, just go back to the tape. Some of these young guys that we're hoping and praying for are woefully bad when it comes to game IQ. What they can give you though
It's
is
energy.
hustle, effort, and energy. Now I don't think hustle and effort was a problem in this game. I just think that, like you said, Bobby Portis took way too long to get going, and they did need something else. So you had asked about Damian Lillard, right? What was the answer? I think Damian Lillard is a point guard in the truest sense in that he's not just a scorer. He's looking to try and make the right basketball play, right? Some of these passes that he's making, if you had him on a multiple choice test, he's making the correct play. It's just that the guys who were supposed to then follow through are not. If Jay Crowder was brought in to be a 3-and-D guy and your best shot is the corner three and it's wide open, that's the correct pass. That's the correct play. Jay Crowder has to finish that. That's not on Dame Lillard at that point. You're a professional player, man. You have to do the one. At this point now, some of these guys are field goal kickers, right?
Yeah.
You're a specialist. There's only one thing that you can do. So if you can't do that one thing, then what are you here for? That's
Yeah.
shaky. But there is another answer, which is what Kobe Bryant went to, which is I'm gonna make the right play up to a certain point. But if I see that you are just flopping and not letting me down, then I throw it away at this point.
True.
And we'll work on the right play the next game. And I think that's what Dame had to do. But I also don't blame him at this point because he's exhausted running around these screens and no one else showed up except for Chris, who we're bashing, because I actually think Chris
No.
was
Hold
making
on,
clutch.
Dodge. We got to give Lopez his credit. No, Lopez was hot early.
And I was gonna say that. And I
Yeah.
was gonna say, and Brook Lopez offensively. Bobby Portis, his offensive package is too ISO. He needs to work on how to get points within the flow of the offense so that if I'm trying to get you going, it doesn't look like Carmelo Anthony back in the day where it's just a black hole. That was them attempting to get him going.
Mm-hmm.
And he never got it going consistently. And so it just shook up the flow of the game. And at that point, Pat Connaughton is not going to get you ISO point. And he actually did a couple of things where he did fake handoffs, got to the
Pat
rim.
contributed today. No, hey, I gotta
Yeah,
show love. Pat contributed today.
yeah,
He contributed. No,
absolutely.
for real,
You know what I
No,
mean?
Pat
So he went
contributed
above
today.
what I thought he could do. You
Yeah,
know
he
what I mean? And so
contributed.
it just becomes like it becomes like a trickle down effect when certain things are required from certain people when we're not getting them. I think someone had said it earlier before that I think it was Mr. Cool. Without Giannis, you have a small margin for error. People
Right.
have to be perfect because he is such a force multiplier. You cannot
Right.
come out shaky like that if we're depending on your offense. Promte
Right.
had said it. 1 minute you get it from Bobby Portis, the next minute I don't know what the hell you're doing out there. The next minute it's Bobby. The next minute I don't know what you're getting from him. So he is a bench player. He's
Well,
a he's a
I would.
six man.
Go ahead,
I don't
guys. I'm
want to
sorry.
give I don't want to give Doc, me personally, a pass on the young players because he had enough sense or enough wherewithal to see what AJ Green had, and he started to play him. And remember, if we're talking about IQ, we always say in the beginning of the year that Ajax showed good basketball IQ and instincts on the court. But when a young
When it
player
came
loses his confidence, and now you're coming in and you're just trying to prove yourself, you sped up because that confidence you gained earlier, that natural ability just to he could get the ball, he could dribble, he could pass, he could facilitate. He was learning where his spots were. And when Doc came, all that just went away. And if Doc did any homework, he would know that this kid won the championship at UConn and was
Right.
known for his defense. And what do we need now?
Defense.
Defense. So Doc should have did your homework.
Right. I would say this when it comes to Horace. Maybe, and it's just me thinking when Doc was hired. I mean, I think he may have laid out what his expectations were, and that might have been, look, we want to play our veterans. We got them here. We believe they can win. Probably on the assumption they're going to be healthy. Because if Giannis and Middleton are fully healthy right now, we're up 2-0. I don't think there's any question about it. We'd be
Right.
up 2-0 in the series. So I think that might have been the direction he was given. I don't know. I can't speak because I don't know if that's what happened with him. And I do have just one small criticism of Dame. I mean, he's playing fantastic, but I think what concerns me about him was we should have saw more of this during the season because I think your players around you got to adapt to a whole new Dame right now. And all of a sudden, you're just taking over the game, which is great because he's doing great. But how do you play around that now? And that's not been what we've done throughout the season. He's rarely done what he's doing now in terms of attacking and scoring and shooting and just playing really, really well offensively. So that's all. But I mean, he's obviously doing well, and I don't want to criticize him, but I just think it would have been nice had he done that a few more times during the season so we could adapt as a team as how he's playing around him. Uh,
I agree. I just don't know if there's any easy answer to that, right? Because I think that
yeah.
one of the things that we all have to come to terms with is the fact that the Bucks know very intimately how old they are,
Facts.
and they are not going to play full tilt basketball in the regular season and have nothing left in the gas tank. I mean, that's what we're seeing from Brook Lopez. We're finally seeing the true Brook Lopez now, right? Because Brook was not going to do this in the regular season and have nothing left, right?
Yep.
Damian is not that much younger than Brook. I know it doesn't look like it.
Right.
So what we're seeing now, like the older fighter, right? Who's more economic with how many punches he throws because he's trying to last the full 12 rounds versus like the young Floyd Mayweather who would come out and punch 1,000 times in round one, 2,000 times in round two. Like you know what I mean? That's what I think you're seeing. It does present as an interesting problem. I actually never thought about it in that way because now guys are having to adjust. I think that, like I said, I don't know that he was the. I think the major problems with the guys who've now become essentially field goal kickers and miss field goals all night. For me, it begins and it ends with the support players who gave no support tonight whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Jay Crowder is unplayable. Malik Beasley is unplayable, and certain guys at this point should have been developed, and I just don't know. But now it's like a lesser of the two evils, right? Because you're coming in and you're forcing these guys into high tempo, high IQ basketball. I saw it from AJ Green. He was lost out there. There was a time when he could have stepped in, took a charge, didn't know to do it, and let go an easy layup. Then there's another time when you don't want him to commit contact fouls, and he's like, what is that? Their backup point guard, TJ
McConnell.
just pushed him out
On
of
the base,
bounds.
on the baseline.
What are you doing, AJ? Do you understand? Like what? All right, so stop that play. Stop. Moment in time. Stop. Pause. Right. What possible good comes out of that? If you're trailing and your team now goes up into the penalty on that. If you notice, the very next time out, who came off the floor with that kind of stuff? These are IQ moments. That's stuff that gets worked on in the regular season. Like, you got to know when to step in to make the contact and when it's full. Like, what are you doing? This is all effort, no IQ moment. Because I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to crowd him. You're trying to get in his jersey. But there's a way to do that. And there's an intelligent way to do that. And there's a way not to do that. And
Well,
that's the
here's
youth of the
yeah,
guys.
and here's what I fear.
You know,
It's not just that we lost; it's how we lost.
Yeah.
Those in the last quarter, those guys were clowning us. They got everything they wanted. Their confidence went sky high. In their mind, when they get to Indiana, they're gonna dust us. So the only thing that's going to stem the tide with their confidence right now is Giannis. Was right now they dictated their chops. They said we got them. We hit them in all their weaknesses. We have them staggering on the bench. We found they treated us like Devin Haney tonight. Like we had a glass chin. Once they found out we had a glass chin, they just kept throwing hooks at us. I hate to do it, Amara. I hated to do that, man. But we like Devin Haney tonight, man. So
boy, that
so
thing
it's
got
like
like,
that's
look,
the
man.
thing I hate is that we gave them that much that they went on that type of spurt, man. That's the type of spurt that can carry over. I think
Right.
the only thing that will give them pause now is seeing Giannis
I agree.
in the line.
See, the reason I would disagree with that is because we did that to them in game one, and you saw how they came out in game two. So I think sometimes, yes, confidence is always it's always a threat to carry over in the next game. But I think what you can also do is piss off another team if you get to a little too ahead of yourself with the way that is. You know what I mean? I just think at the end of the game, it gets to a point where there's too much momentum and the other team just breaks. And I think we waved the white flag at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like the effort, the defensive shell was easily broken. And I just think that we stopped playing. They were still dribbling the ball, but they were no longer playing like
We're
playoff
going to
basketball.
Indiana, man. We're going to Indiana. That's what makes me nervous. That's what makes me nervous. We're going to Indy now.
For sure. I mean, to me, it's going to be a contested series regardless. Even if Giannis comes back, it's going to be a series, right? Because he's going to come back, and I don't know how strong he's going to be.
Right.
And it's the playoffs, right? It's not like something you can ease back in. This is the playoffs. However, I do believe that more economic use of that 2-3 zone could have helped, especially if we don't have someone
Yep.
else that you know what I mean. When you're seeing your drop get penalized, right?
What
I
happened
think
to what
Giannis
happened to it? What happened to it?
the I don't know. That is a Doc thing. There's no excuse for that in my opinion, right? But uh, I also think that again, this is what I mean when I say force multiplier, right? I think Giannis coming back now puts people in their rightful positions. I think people are
Right.
somewhat playing out
Right.
of position right now. We don't have any answer for Pascal Siakam, and it's not just that we don't have an answer for Pascal Siakam. It's the people that I would put out on Miles Turner are trying to defend Pascal Siakam and doing a poor job of that. So now you got two guys going off, and Tyrese Halliburton doesn't really have to do a whole lot because
Right.
we can't stop those two guys, right? You put Giannis when we do decide to man up because it's not man defense the entire game, right? But you use it studiously and it slows his momentum down. When that happens, you're able to put Chris out on Miles Turner, and I think he's a little bit better on the perimeter than he is trying to stop a
Mm-hmm.
mid-range jumper if he is gimpy and he's can't move as well. It also puts other people in different positions, somewhat, right? Um, I definitely think, even though I've seemed to have made a convincing argument against it, I think this is where Ajax has to get in the game because I for real. I think at this point, Jay Crowder should be looked at in the same way that we looked at Bobby Portis years ago when we won the championship in the Brooklyn series. They DMP'd him for the entire series. It's just not working, bro. And the Jay Crowder thing, if I'm like Mr. Cool. I don't expect you to hit a ton of shots. But if you can't even play defense, which is the one thing that you're supposed to
Supposed to
do in the
do. Yeah.
absence of your offense, if you can't even do that, then you got to be, right there next to Thanasis and just coaching people up and waving the pom poms and giving out ball at this point. 5 second-round picks for that. 5 second-round picks for that. If this were football, you know what I mean? Like this, you are supposed to be the guy who's supposed to be getting sacks every time there's a 3rd and 5, and we don't see you at all for
Right.
4 games. This is who you are. You don't do anything else. You don't drop back into coverage. You don't stop the run. You just supposed to get sacks, and you don't even do that. I'm trying not to be toxic because I don't know Jay Crowder personally. It's not a personal attack, but he was awful tonight.
He was.
Awful.
No,
Awful.
he was
We're spending a
bad.
lot of time
No, he
criticizing
definitely
guys
was.
who
He definitely
actually
played
brought forth.
terrible. I agree.
We spend a lot of time criticizing guys who actually gave us something. Chris Middleton gave us.
It was something.
Jay
Yeah, true.
Crowder was awful tonight. And if the only person worse than Jay Crowder was Beasley, and they're both picking up checks. Beasley, man, I've been on a roller coaster with him. In the beginning of the season, you guys remember, in the beginning of the season, he was the worst thing that I had seen in a Bucks uniform since ever. And then all of a sudden, he has started to figure it out.
Right.
And now he's right back to being that. At least
No,
he was shooting
I
threes in
agree
the
with you.
beginning. He was
I
just that on
definitely agree.
defense.
I definitely agree
At
with
least
you.
he was shooting threes on defense. You know what I mean? He just wasn't playing good defense. But now he's not playing good defense and he's lost his shot. What you're bro. I don't know
Can we
about
talk
you,
about
Levy. I don't know
Giannis
about
for a
you.
second?
Say again, I'm
Can we talk
sorry.
about
Go ahead.
Can we talk about Giannis for a second?
Go ahead.
Oh,
I
well,
think a couple
I'm going
things.
to tap out.
Okay.
Actually. I'm going
All right.
to just say
Yeah,
salute.
and
Good
then
night to the
can you get your
fellas.
last
Enjoy
words,
the
Mr.
chat.
Cool and B Shack, because I got a couple people in here too. So all right, Mr. Smith. All right, sir. I'm gonna
It's a
tap
good
y'all
chat.
in here.
We'll
Give me a
get them.
second. All right. Salute to
We'll
Mr.
get him next
Hey.
time.
Salute.
Yes,
Salute.
sir. Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick, we don't know, we really don't, what version of Giannis we're gonna get. What I don't personally don't don't really want to see. I do not want to see the Giannis at the top of the key trying to go full speed. First
I
of
would
all,
I would
we
prefer
don't
not to
need
see
you
that.
taking we don't need you taking that space up from Dame. If anything, I only want to see you in two places. On the pick and roll
Or in the block.
and then in the post. I don't need for you
Come
to be
on, y'all.
taxing that calf like crazy. I don't need to be seeing that. And I don't know if you guys saw this or not the other day on Gilbert Arenas' show. Kenyon Martin, who has defended Giannis, went into this 10-minute like thing with how Giannis needs to improve his game and his post game. And he went in all this detail. And I was like, oh my, here we go again.
There
But
you go.
in times like this, when you don't know what he's going to have athletically, you would like to see him down there utilizing whatever he learned from Akeem, right? But we just don't know what version of Giannis we're going to get.
Come on, man.
Go
Gotta
ahead,
stop.
Prate.
Well,
Go ahead, Prate.
Look, we gotta stop this.
Stop what?
If Dame is the player we think he is, he can play that well with Giannis. It's just that simple, man. Like you cannot demote Giannis. Giannis needed that Dame needed that Giannis tonight.
right.
He needed that Giannis tonight. That Giannis that take the ball out of his hands and bring the ball up the court and dominate. That's the Giannis that Dame found out he needed tonight. That's all I saw. If he had that Giannis tonight, they win this game easily.
Pronte, you missed
Easily.
you
They
missed
run
you
away with
missed you
I'm
missed the
telling you.
rich you missed the
I
Pronte, you
understand what
missed
you're saying, man, but it's
listen
not
No,
true.
no, you missed
listen
that.
for
No, no,
listen
no.
for a
You
second.
behind,
You
Prate.
missed the original premise. You missed it. I would
You said
love to have
I
that
heard what
Giannis.
you said. I heard exactly what you said. That you
I'm
need Giannis in the
saying,
floor. Why would you
Pronte, you
limit a
don't
guy
know.
like
I'm
Giannis?
saying you don't know. None of us know what Giannis we're going to get when he comes back. We don't know. We
I know
hope
we're
we
gonna
get
get.
the full
I know
Giannis. We hope.
we're gonna get a better player than any other player than we saw today on the Bucks. I know that for a fact, and you know that for a fact. B. Shaq, come on now. Who Middleton had 15 points? When have you seen Giannis get 15 points in a playoff game? Seriously,
You
15
fighting a
points.
straw man because I'm not saying
15.
I don't want Giannis back. I'm not
I'm
saying
just.
that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying Giannis is better in the playoffs than he is in the regular season.
No, but he's saying the way he's playing. He's saying like being at the top of the key. That's what he's saying. He's saying that
I'm just
Giannis needs to
saying.
play more in the post
All I'm
The
saying,
man
or in
man, and
pick
busted
you
and
the
can say
roll.
what
busted
you
his
want.
calf. Do you
You can
really
say what
think
you
he's
want.
going to be? Wait a minute. Do you really think he's going to be Euro stepping
That's
full
it'll be
bore?
easier on his body doing the pick and roll and just
So
going in the
you
post.
saying you don't want Giannis to play Giannis's game?
Not if it's gonna hurt him or put more stress on his body.
Oh my God, that's like saying I don't want Dame to shoot long 3-pointers. He gonna do it. Like he gonna do it. That's his game, man. Like what are we talking about? That's how he plays basketball. That's how
Ron,
Dame
how
plays
you not? How you
basketball.
not
You know
understanding
that,
this?
and I know that. Are we?
How are you
How
not
you?
getting this?
Why do you? If you don't want Giannis on your team, you want him to be LaMarcus Aldridge or Bobby Portis. Just say that.
He
But I
said
don't want to see
LaMarcus
Giannis turn into
Aldridge
Bobby
is
Portis.
wild.
I don't want to see Giannis turn into Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez. I want Giannis to be Giannis. Because
Oh
the
my
only time the
god.
Bucks won a championship in
LA?
my lifetime was when Giannis was Giannis. And that's gonna be the next time we win. Like Dame is gonna be good. Dame didn't even play this way at all in the regular season. So I'm not even worried about Dame getting off in the playoffs. He knows what he's doing. If Giannis can beat Giannis while Dame's being Dame, we're not gonna lose this series at all. End of story. Because look what Middleton can do. 15 points. That's typical Middleton performance. To be honest with you, play good one game, play bad another the next game. That's what he did all year. That's what he does. So I'm saying you don't want Giannis guess what? Dame needed Giannis to bring the ball up the court today. He was tired. He was tired.
Yeah.
Dame didn't
I,
score.
I,
He
I
scored.
hope
He scored
I
6 points in the
have
second half. The
Giannis.
game before that, he scored no points in the second half
Tired.
because he was tired. He was tired. He was carrying the load. He had to experience what Giannis had to experience, and he couldn't finish the job this game because he needed some help. He needed Giannis, man. He needs Giannis to be Giannis, and that's what he found out. That's all he found
But
out,
Bronte,
and they've been knowing
what?
it.
I mean, you're
If
you're
you never,
you're talking
I'm just gonna
about
be honest.
a
We
perfect
have never
world.
saw
And
Giannis
we're
play
talking
another
about
way.
reality here. Giannis has been out for over 2 weeks with a busted calf, which, if it's
Giannis
not
broke
careful,
his
it can
leg
turn into
in
an
game
Achilles
4.
injury. So what all we're saying here is, first of all, we don't know when he's going to come back because they don't want him to come back until he's ready. All I said was, even though I hope Giannis is perfect health, we really don't know what shape he's going to be in because he may decide, oh, I need to help my team, but I'm really only 70%. Do we really want Giannis trying to play like the old Giannis when he's really 70%? I don't think so.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you this. Did you see Bobby Porter today?
Yeah,
Did
Yeah,
you
we saw
see?
Bobby.
Did you see Malik Beasley today?
We saw
Did you
Beasley.
I
see?
sure did.
Did you see? Did you see Patrick Bailey trying to make a layup? I mean, what are we? Come on, B-Shaq, you know, if we know Giannis is better than that at 70%,
We're
come
not
on.
saying that. That's not the debate. The debate
I
is
think
how
you're
he
You
mis.
should
don't
I
be
want
think
Giannis to
playing.
drive.
you're misunderstanding.
What you're
I'm gonna be
saying
quiet.
Yeah,
is
You're
the debate is
misunderstanding
how
my
he should be
point.
playing.
You're
how
misunderstanding my
how.
point.
I
Yeah.
mean, I do understand your point completely, honestly, but Giannis doesn't play like that. He never has played like that. So what you're asking for Giannis to be a different player, and that's what y'all been asking Giannis to be the whole season. He's not going to be a different player, and I think that's clear. And stop asking him to be there. He doesn't even need to. Dame
Okay.
was the one that was playing possum the whole regular season, not Giannis.
He said he was playing possum. It's crazy.
Dame was playing possum. You know how
Go
you know
ahead,
because you
Bronte.
see it. You seeing it, right? You seeing it. He could have did that all year long. That had nothing to do with Giannis. And he even kind of was saying that because he said he wasn't really into it. That's what he was saying the whole year. Dame can give you 30 and a half at any point in time. With Giannis on the court, with Giannis off the court. It's probably easier with Giannis on the court because now he got some help. They can't just show him all that attention because then Giannis gonna cook him for 30.
Mhm.
Easy 30. Giannis will cook him for 30 without Dame on the court
Right.
at 70%. Because what does Giannis average against Indiana? 50?
It's in the 40s, I think.
70%
It's
of 50
somewhere.
is 30,
Yeah.
30, 35.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yes, we want 70% of Giannis because what's 70% of Middleton? 10? 5? Like, what's 70% of Bobby Portis? 5 points? Like, come on. Nobody fears Giannis more than Indiana. End of story. Indiana's the only problem. Now that Dame's playing the way that he's playing, they know that. Come on now, the calf injuries aren't a joke.
Right.
Dame had the same injury and came back in 15 days.
Different
It's been
game.
15 days.
They play a
It's
different
been
game.
15 days.
They play a
It's been
totally
15 days.
different game, my brother.
I'm just saying, Giannis is not going to come back and play like Patrick Ewing. And we know this. So how are we expecting him to do that? That doesn't even make sense to me. Like he's not going to
This
do that.
man and the players he bringing up is
You
wild.
you
You
make
know
it.
what I
You,
mean? He's not going to just take
He's
a whole
so
bunch of.
wild.
listen.
You
We
know
know
Giannis is
Giannis
not doing
has
that.
the most diverse game.
And to
We
be honest
see
with you, I'm
he
gonna be honest with you. Only person who hasn't adjusted his game is really Dame.
all I'm
Giannis
saying.
played off ball all season. I saw Giannis in the post more this
Bro,
season than any other season in the NBA. He's played in the NBA. He's been
I
in the
know, but
post
all I'm saying,
all year.
all I'm not saying Giannis should be Giannis. I'm saying aspects of the game, like the pick and right, like screening, going toward the cup, or playing on the block,
playing the dunker, you know, getting the ball more on the wing is
You
better
want Giannis to
because
be a role player?
let me finish. Let me finish. It's better than him starting up top, trying to start the engine, trying to bust past people, using his maximum explosion on that calf. I'm telling you, there are ways that Giannis plays within his game that he can emphasize more than the parts of his game where he needs to tax that calf to the max. Because he's not going to be
So you saying
100%.
you don't want Giannis to get injured?
They what?
Well,
If he plays,
we
you
want
saying
to
you think
reduce
he's
the
gonna get injured if he
likelihood.
plays
We
like he
reduce the
normally plays?
likelihood. Yeah, reduce the likelihood.
All right, I just don't think that's gonna help the Bucks win.
He's
Let's
I
just
still
just
a
see if
don't
vet.
it
see
does
it.
it. Then you can always switch back. You got 4 quarters, but
I
you
don't
should at
think
least.
Giannis is going. I think Giannis is going to be smart. We saw Giannis break his leg, almost tear his MCL,
Right,
and play cautious the first 2 games he came back, and he still got 25 and 20 in those games, and then 40 the next game, and he was playing cautious. So I'm not saying Giannis can do that now. I'm just saying like Giannis know his body, but he don't
right,
play his game. Giannis don't play his game, y'all. Just like they ain't gonna play his game. Middleton gonna play their game. Brook Lopez gonna play their game. Bobby Portis, even though he not gonna pass the ball, is going to play his game.
no,
Now
I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all.
he,
But
he ain't
hey,
gonna
it's getting a
come back
little
in.
late,
He ain't
y'all.
gonna
I'm
come
just
back
gonna
and
let
play a
y'all get
different
y'all
game.
last word so I can tap in.
Now,
I just
I'm
don't
Rest
gonna,
of
think
the
he gonna come
folks.
back and play today.
tap
Yeah.
out.
All right,
But
appreciate you. Hey, this is low key a
right,
legendary podcast right here. Low key,
Mr.
this
Cool,
the playback value on this one is gonna be
Amara.
hey, serious. Salute to y'all. This is one of them ones. This is one of them ones. All right,
All right,
y'all.
I think
Appreciate y'all. All right, bro.
I
All right,
think
hey,
if Giannis come
Prate.
back, Mr. Cool, we're gonna be fine.
All right, there
Giannis
we
gonna
go. There we go. All right, Prate. Mr. Cool, the legend, one more time. Hey, this don't happen often. We appreciate you, Mr. Cool.
I just want to say one thing. We have to have a game plan for the next game. And we
Okay.
need to run them off the threes because I think they really rely on 3-point shooting. And if we have to give up twos, I'd rather do that than give up all the threes we gave up tonight
Right.
because 3-point is just, man, you just open the game wide open. So, but it's up to Doc to create a game plan, whether we have Giannis or not. But that would be one of the things I would advise is run them off the three
Thank you.
as much as we can.
Facts.
So, thank you, sir. Always a
Hey, no,
pleasure.
thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you, Mr. Cool. Yes, sir. All right. My man, Mr. Cool. Let me tap y'all in. I'm gonna let y'all say y'all piece, and then I'm gonna get to a couple comments and get up out of here. I didn't realize it's this late. Gibson, Brandon, what's good? All right, Gibson, come on, bro.
Salute, salute, peace and love, respect, blessing. Brandon, salute to you, and Amber, salute to you. Amber, my only thing here is right,
Mm-hmm.
and I know Bucks Nation ain't gonna be happy with it, but I can say it just the way it is. If I is the owner of this team, I will fire John Horst tonight. I will come over from the Bahamas and sign a petition to fire John Horst tonight. I dead serious, Amber. I mean it, I'm serious. I'll find one. No, you have to be one of the worst GM in the entire. You have to be one of the worst GM in the NBA. I will fire
Damn.
Horst tonight. You know why I say that, Amber? Let me tell you why I say that. Number one, crowd is playing terrible, and Beasley
Yeah.
is playing awful. How could you said Beasley have to be a starter? And number two, if I was the ownership, I would sit down with Doc Rivers, have a big, wonderful conversation with him and say, listen here, we are not on this team to play only the veteran guys. We have to give your young guns them some chances to play against a young team like Indiana. If you see the old heads are not producing, bench them. I bench you the whole quarter and I given Bocham, Chris Livingston, Marjan Bocham, and Ajax all the minutes they deserve to get, at least to get something. Because
Facts.
if we're getting none from this team, Amber, in the off season, I looking for this team to be turned upside down. Like what I said, they need to
Absolutely.
turn this team need a reboot, a complete reboot. It is because why? Number one, we need a young center. Lopez is not cutting it. He got to
Right.
go. We need a young center. Number two, Chris Middleton. He might have said after the season he might have said call it a day and retire because he cannot guide a team. He need to go. He
Damn,
need to go.
Gibson. Damn.
I man, Amber, I had enough. I had enough. I didn't see it enough. I have too much heartbreaks, too much headaches. I didn't see them all. I didn't
Man,
had
my
enough.
man Gibson.
I didn't seen enough, Amber. It's time for them to call this. It don't make no sense running it back. You run it back, you're only embarrassing yourself. Change up the team. We have to get younger, faster, and we need more athletic bigs. Not no little young, little cheap guy they're gonna sign. No, no, no. Get rid of those. These fellas who are not producing to this team. Get them off this team. And John Horse, you need to start looking yourself in the mirror and say, if this team do not make it out of the second round, you need to start putting application and find another job because you're gonna get fired. You're going to get fired. You know why? You have three coaches on the book. You give away all our draft assets for a bum player with not giving us nothing in the playoff. All those draft pick tie into the, and we get nothing out of him. What Crowder do? Nothing in this game.
Salute, young
Nothing.
Doka. All right.
And the bench is being terrible. I said it again. The bench is like the team do not have a bench. It's just like only Dame, Middleton, and Lopez come to do work. Other than that, we don't know where the rest of the squad going.
Brandon, what is you doing, bro?
It's like it's like Namba and Brandon is like it's only three fellas against a whole India. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. The same quote what Michael Jordan said. Every championship what I win, Scottie Pippen was right there. It's just not a one man collective effort.
Right.
Everybody have to buy in. And they need to realize this is the playoff. We cannot go home again like last year, get put out the
Talk to him,
first round.
Gibson.
And we do not learn from this. We have to learn, Bucks, please. Where are your pride? This is for a championship, for your legacy. So when you retire, you can look back and say, by hanging this second championship in this band and pride your forward by the contribution and effort that I put in to help us to get where we are today. And they look like they don't have that. John Horse, oh, I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it, you must be the worst GM in the NBA, one of the worst GM in the NBA. Man, Brandon, the floor is yours. I hand it all over to you. The floor is yours, Brandon.
All right,
I
y'all.
say
Yeah,
no
just
more.
a couple minutes apiece, and then I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. It's already 11:40 here, so go ahead, Brandon, and then I'm gonna have Daniel give his last word.
Salute to Daniel. Salute to
All
Daniel.
right. Shout out to the Bleach Report boss. Go
What's
ahead,
up,
King
Daniel?
Carter.
What's up?
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, man, we should put Indiana in the first quarter. And I know I want to talk about Bobby real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, please not pass the goddamn ball for one. Well, pass the goddamn ball. You see, game three open, pass it to him. You will get yours. We all know that. Next time, use your goddamn head. Use your goddamn head. Milton, what I see Milton go down like, here we go again. You already know he gonna get injured. This is the reason why I said Buck Nation. This kind of thing. Buck Nation. Them. After this all season, whether we win a championship, Milton had to go.
Told you.
Milton,
I told you.
this is how I say this. Milton needs to get care of this baby.
Lopez needs to take care of this baby. Hayes, Crowder needs to take care of this baby. The reason why I can say this, we got some old, dumb ass old players on the team. Cannot get the break.
All right, Brandon. All right, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
Bozo.
enough. That's enough, bro.
Man,
That's enough. Go ahead, Dick.
All right, I've been here everybody talking all night, and I understand. We gotta get better, but the low point I want to really shine light on. I don't want to lose to this team. Tyree Halliburton talking about our fans in the post interview, talking about they ain't a silent crowd. We're gonna have crowd. And I'm like, bro, you barely even did anything in these last two games. Siakam saved you, and you talking about, well, yeah, we gonna have some better fans in the I do. We cannot lose this team. Look at me. I'll get the chitty eyes. We cannot lose to this team. I don't want to hear it. We cannot. I hate Tyrese Halliburton because he a guy that does nothing. He ain't won nothing yet, and he got so much cockiness and oh my god, like I cannot stand. I can as much I don't can't stand Boston. I can't stand this team because they just this they doing something. You won one game,
you
bro.
mute,
I can't
you
hear
mute, mute,
you.
you mute.
Yo, yo. All right, there you go. My bad.
Yo,
I muted myself by accident. Hey, we gonna be all right. This was a loss we necessarily shouldn't have taken, but I think that we'll learn from this and we'll win in Indiana, and then we'll get Giannis back. We'll win this series. It should have just been a sweep.
man, I don't want to look.
That's really what it should have been. All right, Brandon, but make it brief, bro. I for real need to get up out of here.
I think, I think when I know I hate Halliburton. He got one thing, and Yanni, both of them need to drop a 50 piece on him. Back him up.
Some guy,
All right.
some guy. I
All
don't want
right.
to lose this.
All right, y'all. Let me get the last couple of comments, then I'm gonna get up out of here. All right, y'all. Gibson, take us home.
Peace and love, salute, respect, and Bucks Nation. Please, if we lose to this team, John Horst need to be out as GM of this team
The next
complete
day.
out.
The next day.
And I stand on
Immediately.
that.
Right.
I stand.
Expeditiously, as they like to say.
I stand.
Expeditiously.
I stand
This
on
is
that. I stand on that.
about to survive going through Friday night. And I believe in the team. Do y'all believe in this squad to get it done and win this series? And one day, hit, hit that thing down and bye-bye to Albert. What?
Man, somebody need to get John
My
Spencer
boy
being.
Brandon
Get
is locked in.
John
All
Spencer being.
right, y'all.
Salute, salute,
Brandon locked
salute.
in. All right, y'all, go.
All right.
Oh my god, this dude is hilarious. All right, Bucks Nation, appreciate y'all tapping in for the Vampire stream. The Bucks did suffer a loss today to the Pacers. We just didn't play good. We the wheels came off in the fourth quarter. The problems we have are fixable. We do need Giannis back now. I feel to win this series, especially with street close East. Middleton has hurt himself again. I mean, damn, Middleton, your body is made out of like paper mache. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. But hopefully he can bounce back and then over this 3-day rest, get the right attention he needs medically to come back and have an impact because we definitely do see the playoff Middleton. So hopefully we can get some of that in the game 3. Giannis come back and Dame keep cooking and we'll be just fine. We just really shouldn't have lost this. We did some low IQ basketball and it cost us the game. That's just literally what happened. So it is what it is. I'm Amber. This is Amber's Logic, Milwaukee Bucks trades, rumors, and news live edition where we just discuss the Milwaukee Bucks. versus Indiana Pacers game where the Bucks lose 108-125 at Fiserv Forum in front of friends and family. We got our head beat in. It's crazy. If you haven't already, please hit the like button on your way out. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the content. This is your number one resource for Bucks news, and this is the number one Bucks chat on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a really great show. Even with the loss, salute the Bucks Nation. Peace and love, as my boy Gibson likes to say, to friends and family. Go.